So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of our Bloodborne walkthrough. For this episode, we are gonna be exploring the remaining area of our Forbidden Woods area from the last episode. This remaining segment of the whole area is even trickier, even easier to get lost, and even more complicated and intricate. So you better stay close. Okay, right off the bat, we're gonna introduce you guys a new system of this whole game, that is the shape of the blood gem. You can see that right here in the third slot that we got here, we can actually equip this rounded like red blood gem. The reason why we are able to fit in a shape that is totally different from the shape of the slot, as you can see right there, is because this blood gem is actually droplet, and that is actually waning, and all these are radial. So each blood gem actually has a specific kind of shaped slot to fit in, except for that special, droplet shaped blood gem. Okay, for this exploration, we are gonna have to equip this impurity special ruin that we got from talking to that NPC last episode, because equipping this ruin will actually get us 2 summon signs near the boss arena. Also spend all your ruins from last episode before we set off, because this might be a very dangerous journey. We have a lot of stuff to cover. This whole area is really infested with a new type of enemy. He looks like a normal Yarnamite at first sight, but once you attack him, he will actually transform into his second phase. His second form is such that a lot of snake heads will just pop out of his head, and those snakes usually will gel together and attack you all at once. It's not really that easy to parry, although the frequency of their attack is quite rapid, but the window is pretty short, so gun parry is not really encouraged here. But as of I'm recording this clip, I thought gun parry should be the only way, dealing with this kind of enemy. Okay, enough of that crap. Down here, I'm gonna need you guys to stick to your right. But before that, take this item first, and then stick to your right for the first part. We're gonna be exploring the right side area first. Up ahead, there is gonna be a big chump, our old friend wielding that rock brick. You're gonna have to sneak up on him, give him a backstab, and then a visceral attack of him. Okay, I'm gonna need you guys to drop from here directly. Yep. And we're gonna meet a lot of those, those big groups of snakes congregated together, this kind of enemies. So just kill them as you see fit, but our main objective here is just trying to explore this whole place. Okay, so guys, in order to differentiate what direction you are heading to in this area, there is actually a trick. I will amplify on that later. Okay, right around the corner there is gonna be a giant group snake congregation here. Just get around his back and then use your great sword to attack him. Because once you get around his back, he's gonna have to turn around and face you. Okay, just remember there is actually another upper platform in here. An item to be picked up. Okay, that's it for the right side of the first segment of this remaining area of Forbidden Woods. Okay, as you guys can see that the current track that we are walking on is a bit different in texture, right? Those tracks are graveled road. Those tracks are the main road of this whole area. As long as you are walking into this kind of graveled road with those, you see, fire lamps hanging around, it's an indication of the game telling you that you are on the right course, you are in the right direction. So we are gonna backtrack to where we started, and then we will, you know, that's where we dropped from. We're gonna backtrack to where we started, and then we will stick to our left this round. Yeah, this is a lamp, fire lamp I'm talking about. Okay, up the slope. And also, as long as you are feeling like you are going downwards, because the whole area is actually a downward slope, as long as you are going downward, that means you are in the right direction as well. But a more distinct feature of the right direction is just that graveled track that we were walking on. Okay, now sticking to your left. There are actually not many items on the main track, so if you were to just, you know, walk on your main track, on the main gravel road, there aren't many things to discover. But it will definitely lead you to what you are heading to, what this game wants you to head for. Okay, over here there are another congregation of little snakes and big snakes. Just take them one at a time. But be mindful, they are pretty deadly if they decided to jail together and attack you all at once. Okay, before we leave, there is actually another item hiding down here. And that's it for the first segment of the remaining area of the Forbidden Woods. That's the first segment. There is a part 2. Okay, over here there is a gap that we have to jump across, but we won't do that just yet. Okay, remember this hallmark of wooden branch covered track in here. This is one exit to the next segment. And then this downward slope is a second exit to the next segment. We are starting with the second exit first. Okay, right around the corner there are actually 3 snake men over here awaits us. My recommended approach is to use your L3, not L3, L2, because now that we are using a great sword, we effectively sacrifices our firearms. So our L3 is not like a firearm attack, it's another moveset of our Great Sword, which has, as you can see, a longer range and a higher damage. And what those snakesmen are guarding is just another upgrade material, but this one is special because this is the next upgrade material that we are gonna need to upgrade our current weapon. Okay, keep sticking to your right. Okay, a congregation of snake heads. You can see the venomous spit of this giant snake heads really stagger you at every hit. But just try to get behind him. But over here, the terrain is a bit awkward for us to do so. But we can lure him out. And then spam attack accordingly. Okay, we are not done here. There's still stuffs to be picked up. And keep sticking to your right. There are actually an upward slope. Okay, over here, just take that snake man as a hallmark for this area. We are gonna come back to that area later, but we are definitely not gonna drop from here because that's a one-way route. Okay, after we pick up this, take that giant snake head as a hallmark as well. We'll come to him much sooner. Okay, right around the corner there are actually two giant snake heads hiding down here. The back one will just shoot you with his venomous spit, so you have to take out the front one first. Just use your L2. Same logic. L2 has a higher range. And he is not actually that difficult to cope with. The damage that he dealt to us is not that high. Okay, that's it for the right side. I'm gonna go back to show you guys where that wooden branched covered area leads to. It's actually leading to the same area as you can see here. And we are now starting from here to explore this next segment. And as you can see, this is actually a roundabout area. Be careful of these snake men in this next area. Once they shout, once they shriek, they are gonna summon a lot of small snake heads around him. And once they decided to attack you all at once, you are really doomed. So just be careful. Yeah, like I was saying, this area is actually a roundabout area. That means a full circle. Just take this giant pig as a landmark. We'll come back to here in a full circle. And remember these giant snake heads? We were up there. That's why it's all connected. It just looks very complicated because it's layer upon layer. See, that's a big swamp area. That is the third segment of this entire remaining forbidden area. That's why I said that this area is really just so freaking disgusting. There is no way to tell apart each segment aesthetically. and then we find ourselves back to our original spot, and that is the connecting bridge leading to the third segment of this remaining area. We'll come back to that later. Okay, you see a full circle. Like what I said, this area is effectively a roundabout area, and this is where we come from. Okay, now we are gonna jump across that gap. Just press your A 2 times, your A button. And there is a set of costumes over here. Pick it up, and once we drop down from here, we're actually back to that roundabout area. Use that giant pig as a landmark. It's time to kill him. Okay, that effectively finishes the second segment of this entire remaining Forbidden Woods area, and now we have the third segment of this remaining Forbidden Woods area to tender to. Just backtrack a little bit. This is where we come from, and this time we are gonna stick to our left. First off, yes, that's a strip that she made out, you know, to summon all those small snakeheads. Yep, stick to your left. You can see there are actually two lands here, but we are interested in the upper land because there's an item in here. They basically lead to the same place. And down here, there are three ways to go. You either go to your right, your left, or around the corner. This little, you know, hidden land. And we are gonna to go for our left side first to open up a shortcut. This is the last shortcut in this Forbidden Woods area. This brings us back to that bridge where we first came into the remaining area of this whole Forbidden Woods area. Does that ring a bell, guys? Yeah, like I said, she's pretty difficult to gun parry. Unless you can notice a very noticeable attack coming at you. Otherwise, just based on the snake's movement in his head, that is very difficult to find a window to parry him successfully. Okay guys, it's time to hop back to Hunter's Stream and level up our character, upgrade our materials. Just spend that blood echoes.
Very well,
Okay, we're gonna have to level up our strengths to 25 and then we will go for our skills. Okay, so this is another mechanic in Bloodborne, actually across all Soulsborne genres. 25 in Bloodborne, specifically in Bloodborne, is a soft cap for all kinds of stats. Maybe endurance is different, but you know, apart from endurance, all their soft caps are effectively 25. This means once you go over 25, maybe 26, that yielded return is just not great. We can do a comparison here. You see 26, our attack actually increased to 282, but if we were to put that stats into skills, that goes up to 284. That's 2 point up. I hope you guys can get what soft cap means with that kind of crude, awkward explanation. My composition of English is not that good. So basically, there is actually another more convoluted concept called hard cap, which is once you get one of your attribute up to 50 stats, if you go over that, there isn't really that much of a return from then on. So if you get to 50, you really have to invest those points into other stats. Okay, now that we have done exploring this right side area, which is the area we opened that lift shortcut, if you remember, there's a snake man waiting us in front of the lift. We are gonna be exploring the left side. Yeah, this is the snake man I was talking about. You can see he is quite sometimes we can get the window from those snakes slithering around, but sometimes we just cannot. Okay, from here go straight ahead to the next area. This is actually the left side area. And over here we're gonna meet ourselves a new type of enemy. They look like an alien. Bubble-headed, blue skin. They are extremely weak to thrust attack. But we are really interested and should be really careful here is that spike-headed, bubble-headed alien enemy. I hope my explanation fit to their description. Okay. You can see they are over there. This spike-headed enemy will usually cast spell at you. And being a close combat warrior like we are, it's especially difficult if we were to fight them close up. So the best way is just to use that throwing knife. Throwing knife also constitutes as thrust attack. And that's it for this left side area. And now we are gonna go through that hidden land just below that that upper platform that we come down. Yeah, this area is so easy to get lost and so confusing. I've been re-recording this episode for so many times. Just can't get a perfect one. Even this one that I'm recording on isn't perfect. I suck at explaining things. Not to mention using English. English is not my mother tongue, so my composition of English is just not as natural as those, you know, Americans, British. But I'm trying. This is also a way of practicing your English at home, you know, with nobody to talk to. Okay, over here you can see that there is a glowing item over here, but don't pick up just yet, because once you go there, that is the corner-like terrain. If you go there, decided to pick up that item, this pig will charge at you and really just, you know, corner you in this corner. So that's very dangerous. Better take this giant boar or pig out first. Over here there is again another two directions. On your right is another area, on your left is the boss arena. So we are gonna be exploring our right side first. And this right side area, if you remember this guy, this snake man, I told you guys to treat him as a landmark for this area. We were up there, remember? And that's it. We have effectively cleared out the whole of the forbidden area. If you are wondering where this upper slope leads to, it actually leads to that roundabout area. You can see that giant snake heads below. Remember? That is a landmark. Okay, now we are gonna be fighting this boss. This is actually a multi-boss fight, so my recommendation is really just summon these two guys. But if you were without that special rune that I told you to equip, you know, go talk to that NPC to get that special rune, that green-like special rune. Otherwise, if you didn't equip, you will not be able to see these two summon signs. Although with summons of NPCs, those bosses are gonna get stronger, you know, with a lot of HP, but it will ease the burden a little, because this multi-boss fight also constitutes of 3 entities. You can see this rocky structure. Once you are right below it, use your fire paper. Then after you pass over it, use your beast blood pellet. Shadow of yarn of 3 of them. It's actually pretty easy to tackle with NPC summoned to help. We are gonna go for this one guy who are using large AoE and longer range attack from behind first. You can see that their health bar has significantly increased because of our summoning of NPCs, but that ended a big problem. With Beast Blood Pellet, you see that our attack damage really exponentially exploded. And for the last guy, my suggestion is try to pull off a visceral attack to finish him off, because remember that we have a rune called Air Rune, which will facilitate us a great more deal of blood echoes if we finish an enemy off with visceral attack. So down here I was trying to get a backstab of him, but failed. The scene is just too much chaotic. So in the end I gave up, but switched to gun parry. I still have to be a bit more careful. Yes, that successfully pulled off a visceral attack to finish him, and we got ourselves 26,000 blood echoes. If you didn't pull off that visceral attack, you will only get like 20,000-ish. So not really much of a big difference, but still, I think it's worth it to also practice your gun parry, you know. Okay, Once our skill get to 15, we're gonna pump that blood echo back into our vitality again. Get it up to 35. Just use a few cold blood to make up for the rest.
Very well then. Farewell, good hunter.
And that's it. Okay, so here is the other thing. You guys still remember that that blindfolded NPC was sent to Yusefka's clinic. We can now talk to Yusefka and get reward from her. That blindfolded man is actually a beast. If you send him to Odin's chapel, he will eat up every single NPC in that chapel, so not good. So we will just send him to the clinic, let that fake Yusefka to experiment on him.
Oh, hello. You're all right. Very good. He's safe with me now. I presume you're to thank? The treatment is going well. Stabilized, for the most part. Fascinating, really. Here you are, as promised. Oh, thank goodness you came.
And the fact that she gave us beast blood pellet as a reward, the same as that blindfolded man when we first saw him, is also a signal telling us that that blindfolded man has already been dead from that experimentation. And now remember that back when we are in the poison swamp of that Forbidden Woods area, we actually opened a shortcut over here. Remember that ladder? Yep, and there is still a swath of area that we didn't manage to explore here. This will actually lead us back to the back of that Yusefka's clinic, and we can legitimately enter Yusefka's clinic and see what is going on. What is that fake Yusefka up to? Let's be careful of this guy. Really should be worried about his grab attack. If you get grabbed by him, he will suck up one or two of your insights. Okay, up on the roof there are gonna be a bunch of crows lying over here. This is the back of the Yusefka's clinic, the back gate. Once we enter, we will get ourselves the first insight. And first off, turn to your right. Open this door. We found out that that fake Yusefka isn't here, but that bubble-headed alien-looking enemy is here for some reason. And once we killed him, it actually drops a Yusefka's blood vial. So does that mean that this bubble-headed, alien-looking enemy is actually Yusefka, the original Yusefka? And if you were to see this paper scroll, does that look familiar? That is actually where we were during the start of the game. And over here we pick up a Penhurst summons that will get us to another optional area in this game. Okay, we are done with this right side area. Now just keep going straight ahead. And we found ourselves another bubble-headed alien over here fondling something. This guy is actually that blindfolded man who is actually a beast. He has been turned into an alien. So can we suppose that those aliens that we saw in Forbidden Woods all actually escaped from Yusefka's clinic. They are all humans originally, but been turned into, you know, those bubble-headed blue alien by that fake Yusefka as an experiment, who claims to be, you know, saving people's life. Okay, over here, this is gonna be a game changer here if you decided to attack Yusefka. I will amplify on that later.
How did you worm your way in here? Very unfortunate. I had such high hopes for you. Well, I won't make any excuses. Would you mind leaving us alone? Things need not change. You'll do the rescuing, and I'll do the saving. But if you refuse to leave... Oh well. I've always wanted to try my hand on a hunter.
Okay, once she's done talking, she isn't that hard to deal with, but she's pretty tanky. She doesn't do much of a damage, but there's one attack that is especially potent. Yeah, that's the one. So that's basically it. You will stagger her from every attack you landed upon her. So really not that much to say about her. There isn't much of a trick to cheese her. You know, just use your gun parry, you spam your R1 and that's it. Sometimes she will repeatedly heal himself. Okay, that attack is pretty rare to see, but that one is really... you have to dodge that. Probably the most dangerous attack from her. And she will actually drop another rune. So, you know, remember earlier I said that this part is actually a game changer. The reason why I said that is because if we decided to come back here later at a certain point in game after we defeated a boss, it's a game-changing boss as well. She will not fight us, but still we will see her, you know, lying in a sick bed, seemingly in a very anguish and agonic posture. And if we decided to kill her, she will actually drop a 1/3 umbilical cord. Remember I said 1/3 umbilical cord is actually a end game item which will decide your game's ending. There are in total 4 1/3 umbilical cord in this game, so to reach all 3 endings of the game we only need 3, so we actually sacrifices this one for that rune. Yeah, and we got ourselves a blood rapture from defeating that boss, remember? Shadow of Yharnam. That one is a pretty potent one. But for the next episode, we are not gonna use that. For the next episode, we are gonna use a few elemental resistant rune to protect us from certain damage. Because the next area is also one of the most disgusting, appalling, obnoxious area in Bloodborne. In terms of level design, that's okay. Probably second to Forbidden Woods, but enemy design, the enemy in that area is just so obnoxious, and there are poison swamps all over the place. Actually, over here you can see that we can give out all those messengers costumes to those little messengers and let them equip on. Just choose one that you find the most adorable, I'd say. Pretty cute, right? That's it. I guess that's it for this episode. Hopefully this episode will help you better, you know, navigate this fucking Forbidden Woods area. And that's it. Thank you for your watching, my fellow hunters and non-hunters or hunters to come.